is so exciting. We're going like almost 7 knots because it's the first time that we sail with someone that we're just like zigzagging and crossing paths. I really like days like this that you just do a short little sail, stop somewhere, explore around. Tonight, curry on the menu. It's gonna be a fun adventure across Shroud Cay. We're gonna be going on a 2-mile more or less dinghy adventure. We just came back from snorkeling right behind me. And wow! After backpacking, we decided to see the world by sailboat. We sailed from the Great Lakes of Canada and made it to the Bahamas, where the unexpected happened.
Still not able to start the engine.
And we're gonna have a feast!
We got a dolphin fish!
Let's go! Just epic.
Cruising and grooving. We're running from the coronavirus. We're just leaving Highborn Cay. We're going down to Norman's Cay. And we're gonna dive a shipwreck later today. A plane wreck actually. A plane that's in the water, so that's gonna be super sweet. Maybe do some more spearing, get some more supper since we've had such good luck lately. And we're just gonna have some fun. It's gonna be awesome.
Sailing by yourself and sailing with a buddy boat is so different. It has a very unique ambiance. We must have looked like total weirdos to the surrounding boats. But you know, that's kind of what happens when you're sailing alongside friends who also happen to be making YouTube videos. Sailing vessel Vinyasa and us just keep passing each other, or sailing a few feet from each other and trying to get different angles for videos.
Fun sail, eh?
Oh my, this is so exciting. We're going like almost 7 knots and it's kind of neat because it's the first time that we sail with someone that we're just like zigzagging and crossing paths. It's kind of exciting. It's fun having some other people with us, and actually a bunch of the shots that you're seeing of our boat are a thank you to Sailing Vinyasa, Cody and Therese.
And what a day. Beam reach, good wind, and almost no waves.
Yeah.
Some of our best sailing was in the Exumas. The predominant winds in the Bahamas come from the east, which means from the other side of the islands or the Exuma Sound. And that means no waves on the Grand Bahama Bank.
That's sick.
That's awesome!
We're racing now.
A great thing about sailing with a buddy boat who has a different sailboat than yours is to compare the sailing performance. Vinyasa is a Jano Sun Odyssey 409, and it was quite a bit faster than us on the beam reach. But we still had fun sailing. And then Vinyasa disappeared on the starboard side of this massive super yacht. Meanwhile, we took the port side. Intrepid and the Chase boat.
You guys are like pirates too.
We did a pit stop at Norman's Cay and anchored just south of the cut to avoid navigating strong currents with only our sails.
Pancake time. Making some pancakes while...
Yeah, making some pancakes while filling our navigation log. We just did 12.7 nautical miles. It was so fun. We were flying and beautiful condition, not that many waves. A good like 15 knots of wind, I'd say. Okay, no, that's not them. Because we've got to eat lunch because Cody and Therese are gonna come and pick us up and we're gonna go dive a plane.
It wasn't too hard to spot the plane wreck, since parts were sticking right out of the water during lower tides.
Wow, we just stopped over at Norman's Cay because we heard about that plane shipwreck that was from a drug smuggler guy that used to live there and went crashing into the water. And it was just so neat because as we approached with the dinghy, we could see a little bit of it poking out of the water, and it wasn't very deep, so you could actually dive in and just go, like, pretty much swim through the whole thing. And it was just so special being able to swim through a plane wreck. And there was a bunch of fish also that kept following me around. That was kind of funny.
This plane wreck was discovered the day after it crashed.
During the Pablo Escobar drug running empire of the 70s, this wreck was a drug smuggler plane. The Bahamas weren't very patrolled in the 70s and 80s, and this was a great spot between Colombia and Miami. The story goes that one night a man called the Shroud Cay airport, which is only a small landing strip. He said he was running low on fuel and needed to do an emergency landing. The next morning, the plane was found with 2 passengers still in it. There's quite a few different stories about this plane.
You really see the meaning of Bahamas here. Derived from the Spanish words of Baja for shallow and mar for sea. Perfect shallow sea exploration of the plane wreck. There were many corals that grew all over the plane.
Wow, what an experience. I've never really done anything like that, so really enjoyed it. But towards the end we started having a lot of current, so it was a little bit awkward swimming, and a bit more people also showed up. So we're just leaving Norman's Cay and heading towards Shroud Cay.
See the light blue in the distance. That's where the shifting sands are. That's what we want to avoid.
I really like days like this that you just do a short little sail, stop somewhere, explore around, get back on the boat, another little hour sail, and stop in a brand new place. So we made it to Shroud Cay, which is kind of the beginning of the Exumas Land and Sea Park. And there's a lot of boats right next to us. Unfortunately, we won't be able to do any fishing here, but tomorrow is going to be a fun expedition through the mangroves and across the island. Really looking forward to this. No, I think it's time to get away from the sun. I'm kind of cooking, roasting.
So it's been roughly 35 hours or so, maybe 30, and it seems like I just sprayed it with soapy water. It seems like it's done the trick. It's a bit of a mess right now because I used a clamp to clamp it all down, but we're gonna see if it holds air over 24 hours.
So I am making some epic supper with the rest of the mahi-mahi. Tonight, curry on the menu. And while I'm doing this, everyone's planning off the rest of our route. So that's kind of exciting. More exploration.
In your main pass. And the caves are on the other side of the strong current. So I imagine it's going to be similar.
Oh, this is the Rocky Dundas that I was thinking of.
Oh, okay. I don't get it. They just come in last minute. There could be not a cloud in the sky the entire time.
Right now the clouds are way over there.
Where are we going, Captain?
We're going to Camp Driftwood.
Oh, I'm super excited. It's going to be a fun adventure across Shroud Cay. So we're going to be going on a 2-mile more or less dinghy adventure. And luckily our friends have a dinghy that does not deflate. I like that.
There's sand coming out so far. This is funny. Yeah. Maybe the other side right here would be deeper.
Wait, you checked the battery. What was it at when you checked it?
66?
It is shallow. Stop. Turn around.
I think we're a bit early on the tides.
Whoa, it's getting deeper here though.
Shroud Cay is the northernmost cay in the Exumas, Cays and Land and Sea Park. We stopped here to explore the shallow tidal mangrove salina. In Florida, the mangroves have really murky water, but here in the Bahamas, the water was crystal clear and you could see all the way down to the sandy bottom. We could navigate using the shades of blue. The darker, the deeper.
We tried to time our adventure with the rising tide to make the most of our high tide. We quickly noticed that taking the dinghy through the middle of Shroud Cay at low tide would be challenging.
So we have one way to navigate the shallow waters of the mangroves. You gotta have one person with a toe in the water as our depth finder. You need to get the weight as forward as you can, but not forward enough to where you miss the water coming through the impeller on the prop.
I think we're doing pretty good.
We're good?
Yeah, you're good for a little bit.
I have just my big toe
Shallow up
touching.
there.
This tidal mangrove serves as a unique nursery for conch, lobsters, sea turtles, birds, sharks, and various fish. We saw so many sea turtles, especially that they were so easy to spot in the crystal clear water. It's really important to go at tidal speed and not create wake for all the sea life to thrive.
Makes a difference, eh? Video, but
Eventually, we saw the end of the creek up ahead. We were all excited to have not run aground on our way over. The current also strengthened. We spotted a spot where everybody was tying their dinghies. and beach stars right next to them.
Look at that.
Tied it up and started walking around. There's nothing like a little barefoot climb up a hill to go see Camp Driftwood and stretch out the old legs. The view from the top of this 50-foot hill was spectacular. Not a whole lot of elevation here in the Bahamas. We could see all of Shroud Cay with its mangroves and creeks. But it was a disappointment not to find any remnants of the 1960s camp of Ernest Scholz. I think I'm saying that right. Oh well, coming up here was still worth it. Just to see the different shades of blue from the Exuma sounds and the landscape.
We were all quite warm and were looking forward to a swim, so we walked back down. I grabbed my snorkel and dove into the mouth of the mangrove. First time swimming in one, and I was happy to have great visibility and no alligators, like in Florida. Seeing all of the roots underwater was so unique. And other than tiny fish, we didn't find much. As we were about to go back in the dinghy, we noticed a small stingray and watched it swim carefully from the distance.
The mission, if we choose to accept it, finding a quieter beach for a picnic. Then, all of a sudden, we spotted a small shark. It seemed to be a baby pup, a little lemon shark, from what we could tell. Well, actually, Alex should be telling this story, since she's the one that saw it.
I jumped in the water and put on my mask, and I wasn't too scared because it was less than 2 foot long. And I managed to swim around him for a while before it took off. Lemon shark pups are born live, just like us, and there can be up to 18 in a litter. And as soon as they're born, they find shelter in mangroves where they spend several years.
And only a few seconds after jumping back in the dinghy, we spotted a sea turtle. These mangroves are such an important ecosystem and nursery for the animals. We took a different turn in the creek before hopping out to find our beach. After a lovely picnic, we were all so excited to dive into Exuma Sounds. We spotted some close-by reefs which looked promising.
The water was rough and bumpy from the surface, but a healthy reef welcomed us, along with so many fish. I think they knew we weren't allowed to spear them.
They got so close they didn't even care, but we got a really good look at them anyway.
We just came back from snorkeling right behind me, and wow, that was just incredible. There's a lot of current and waves crashing, but you're snorkeling super close to all the corals, and then there's these little canyons that you can just kind of dive in, and there's some pretty big fish. Unfortunately, we can't really eat, and we even found a huge lobster and a turtle, but that was incredible. You should see by the footage. None of us wanted to leave behind this little paradise with great snorkeling. But we didn't want to get stranded either. Low tide would have left us in the middle of the mangroves. Welcome to the canyon. Today we are heading to Malabar Key.
Almost 2 months now of sailing around the Bahamas with a dead motor.
And the Exumas are incredible because there's so many different little islands